Hey, I hope everyone can hear me all right. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing. Can you hear me well? Let me know if I sound good. I might be very quiet. It's all good, dude. I understand. Awesome. Alright, so. Nah, dude, it's alright. Hey, man, you can watch it later. It's alright. So this time, I want to welcome everybody back to the Rewind. And this time, we're taking a special look back at one of my favorite matches of all time. Arguably the most iconic in the series. It is Mr. Samuel versus Harvey. So I'm going to start it from here. Harvey already made his entrance. But, so to give people context, this was arguably the biggest match of this season's WrestleMania. This was season 3. Also, another fun fact. This was the last season that I used the game's WrestleManias. 4, 5, 6, and 7. I made all the arenas on my own. I customized them. So the significance of this match was Mr. Samuel had his career on the line against Harvey. So this was off the walls, never had been done before. Nobody put their career on the line up to this point. And before this, it was around SummerSlam season 3. I had a conversation with the guy who made Harvey, and we talked about who he wanted to fight at WrestleMania. This was like the first time. Oh, this was also 2 out of 3 falls. That was the other big thing. So it was really, really unheard of for a match like this. This is the first time ever that it happened. We had it Extreme Rules, but I talked to him back around SummerSlam, and we agreed to. Well, he threw out that he wanted to fight Armstrong for the streak. I told him no, mainly because I wanted the streak to keep being built. There were still several guys that were undefeated: Yuri Yamashita, AJ Styles, and I really wanted to help solidify Armstrong's streak. Of course, I ultimately went up with Triple H. I think that was my second biggest opponent regret for Armstrong's streak. He fought Triple H at WrestleMania Season 3, this one. Instead, Harvey got Mr. Samuel. I really wanted to fight these two to fight, mainly because the guy who made Mr. Samuel told me he was stepping away. And he gave me permission to use Mr. Samuel, but I felt like I didn't want to go and do too much. So I decided I was going to run with Season 3, but I was going to retire Mr. Samuel. So the idea was that going into this, Mr. Samuel was going to lose to Harvey. It was a definitive fact. And Harvey agreed to it, which was awesome. And we tried to do things that we had never done before in Universe mode. So promos in the ring with a group of guys. So we had Colt involved with his storyline. We had Harvey, and I portrayed Mr. Samuel. We did promos against each other that went pretty long. We did beatdowns. We really tried to paint Mr. Samuel as the face. Wow, that was really good. It was a really good suplex there. And I think that this match came in with so much hype that it was the match of the card. When people looked at the match that people were excited for was this fight. This was the one that everybody wanted to see from what I remember. But for me, I was the most. It was the one I was most nervous about because you drum up all this hype, you build toward this match, and you don't know if it can deliver. Especially when Mr. Samuel was known to not have great matches. He was all right. So I really tried to tweak, especially in season 3 with his moveset, to help him for this match. The comments are gone now at this point for this video. But I just remember people being so hyped up for this fight. People were ecstatic. They really wanted to see Mr. Samuel win and keep his career. And I don't think I really gave any hints. And if Mr. Samuel won, then that was it. He keeps his career alive. The only person that could lose something was Mr. Samuel. And looking back, I think that I was always nervous around WrestleMania time. The road to WrestleMania was always so stressful for me. Just because I was always worried about getting everything exactly right, getting all the matches set up, going through, this spot. This spot is good. Harvey with a springboard. Nope, countered. Ooh, drop kick to the knee. Oh, yeah, I remember this. This is a long match. I know that. I think clocked around 30 minutes. Just about over that. Oh, Harvey countered. And a spear through the flaming table. Oh my gosh. If you want to hear the original commentary for it and everything, go for it. I kid you not, I was so nervous. My hands were shaking. That's how nervous I was. I was so terrified that this match wasn't going to be great. I was that nervous. I was that terrified. I really wanted this to be special. Trying to just maneuver this. Okay, it's being weird. It's alright. We'll leave it be. We'll leave it be. Wow. Yeah, so Harvey really wanted to drum up the whole King thing. Harvey, I think, the guy who plays or portrays Harvey, I think he did a great job really making people mad at him. Especially in the comments, too. He was talking all this trash. Oh, there's the British Ambition. Perfectly countered. Perfectly countered. This was prime me when I was on top of my game with the counters. I was decent at counters. I was much better at kickouts. Kickouts I live for. Not as good now, mainly because I retired from doing the Universe Mode series, so I'm really rusty at my timing, but gosh, I would come up with some crazy kickouts. Sometimes you'll fail and it just sucks. Oh, Harvey got me with a DDT. That was cool. And this was an example of you do a match, it's got so much hype, and to some extent you could excuse all the near falls that are going to happen. It's 2 out of 3 falls, you're really trying to build up the suspense. So the drama was in full effect for this match. A lot of people were so excited. Gosh. I was excited, more nervous than excited, but I was just hoping, my hope was to just get a decent match out of Mr. Samuel. That was my goal. And I think Harvey was a good pairing. Oh, that was a beautiful counter. That's a cool animation. I love that. And the glitch, yeah. I kicked the turnbuckle. oh, Botchamania. Oh my gosh. That'll happen a couple times. Yeah, you can't have a great match without a few hiccups along the way. Kendo stick. There was another thing. Like, if you're going to have a long match like this, I really wanted to try to use weapons. Weapons here I thought could be used as a crutch to help the match as well and help create more spots, just in case if I didn't like how falls happened or... All this is improv, though. I went in... Sometimes I'll come up with a conception of what I want, for a finish, which you can see sometimes when it happens. Other times, I just wing it. And this was a match I winged from the minute go. I had no idea, but I think that what elevated this match was the stipulation, the fan investment, and we did, I think, a pretty decent job. I don't want to sit on the high horse and be like, oh, we did the greatest job in the world. I think we did a pretty decent job painting who the hero and the villain was, making people care about Mr. Samuel. And I think that season 3 was the turning point for me where I really tried to focus on getting storylines, really trying to make people care about the characters involved. SOS, got him. 1, 2 count. Yeah, it's 2. Am I going to go for the spear? No, the chair, of course. Ooh, chair shot's dead. Harvey is a finisher, so. Going for the chair spot this early? Yeah. Yeah, I was gutsy. Shooting star press. I think this was the first time. I can't remember. I'll have to double check that. I think the shooting star press I recently added to Mr. Samuel for this match. I don't think I had him with the shooting star press beforehand. That's another thing. I really wanted to do shocking moves, like the big reveal moves like that for this match. So I definitely tried to play with Mr. Samuel's moveset to make it more comfortable for me. I really like this moveset from him. I really like how I constructed it. Harvey's was the guy who made him did a great job building his moveset, making him look like a powerhouse. Oh, this is cool. I kid you not, I thinking back, I was probably going to go for that ladder spot. I was probably trying to go for a suplex there, and it didn't work. I wanted the catch finisher there. That was the other thing. Because I already got a pin attempt there, I wanted a shocking, quick pin attempt by Harvey to return the favor. Cover 1. That's what I'm talking about. Some of these kickouts, I don't know how I did it. I shock myself. I was crazy with these kickouts in this match. I think that helps the drama because you can see when someone has a finisher or an escape. And I think if you can get people with those shocking kickouts, I think that's also a hook right there because people aren't expecting you to be that good, and then you can do it, and people are like, wow, that's impressive. And I think when it comes to a video game, you really have to hook the audience. You really have to get the why. Here comes the black mass. Yes, sir. Kick to the jaw. I set the ladder here. I think I was going to go for a dive. Yeah, I wanted to dive. I think this was because I wanted to do the shooting star press off the ladder. Yeah, there we go. Is it a botch? Yeah, kind of. I got the back. Listen, Panda, listen. We are going to talk about how that crushed Ross Young's momentum. Missed that. Went up. I think I went for the shooting. No, I can't remember what. Is it a Hurricanrana? Oh, never mind. Oh, that's pretty cool. I like that. And to put this in perspective, I think I've only watched this match back twice. DDT on the chair. You go through spots. Once again, improv. Just doing what you think can work. And I think part of this match I played off the chat, and I think it sucks that you can't view the chat anymore from this stream. But I think Panda could back me up here and reinforce the point that it was pretty electrifying.
people were really in. You had Harvey. You had the guy
Portraying Harvey, doing a great job in the chat, riling them up.
playing up the villain. Ooh. Oh man, Botchmania. You love to see it, people. You love to see it.
Yeah, I agree, Panda. Chat was white hot. Like it was electrifying.
Ooh, famous room.
There were moments like that. There was matches that had that, but this match just had everything. This was, I mean, just you had to be there live to experience it. I think that's the only way you could really get it, because if you watched back or you weren't invested, or if this was your first match you viewed and you had no context, I think it's a real hit or miss because it's a long dragged out fight. And yeah, that was the night we were all marks. Oh man, it was so much fun. I just remember nothing the rest of the night could compare. Nothing. I'm so glad Classpar and I went first in the night. We were the kickoff match, and I thought we had a great match. And then this topped us as the sixth match on the card, and we still had the main event, which nobody was really interested in, except for Ross Young. That was what people were really amped up for. And then there was, after this match, there was DJ and I Ate the Pen. There you go.
I totally forgot about that spot. I knew it was coming at some point. Oh my gosh, the spear countered into a DDT on the ladder. Oh, you couldn't write it any better. You couldn't have written that any better. Like, I got the pin, I saw how we got up, and I was like, I'm spearing the crap out of him. And then he countered me, and it was like, I can't disagree. I can't even argue for how good that spot was. It was such a shock too. I remember the chat just going, ooh. Goldberg was in the main event. You could think he could top it. I think the fight after this, DJ versus Cole Lee, was pretty solid. But my problem was this match was so good. Like, everybody was so into this. Like, there's those moments in wrestling. Oh, there's the spear. There's the spear out of nowhere. Cover. 1, 2. Oh, 2. It's 1-1. But I remember people were really excited about DJ and Cole Lee. My problem was I was trying to communicate with Harvey how we were going to do, like, salvage his heat, because he dorked up in the chat. And I think everybody was just taxed from this fight, because this was, once again, this was the fight. Yeah, it was Cole. It was Cole versus DJ for the Universal Championship. Cole was walking in the champion. Shooting star press. Cover. Gosh, I love that pin animation. The only thing is, when you hit the down arrow, it wouldn't let you. So you had to manually let it go. I didn't want it to end because, once again, I had Mr. Samuel losing. So it was about trying to get this spot, trying to get the moment. Yeah, Cole beat you for the title. Yeah, that was crazy. Knee to the face. I countered. Got it back inside the ring. Yeah, it's one of those moments in time. I know I'm talking around in circles, but yeah, it was. This match just taxed the audience to where if DJ and Colt were in the main event, I think people would have received it pretty well. No matter what, the match at the end, the match after this was going to be just dead. And I had no concept. Like I was not thinking this would knock the socks out of everybody. I didn't think it was gonna be that good. yeah, I did. At the expense of the Hitman streak. Listen, we erased that. Don't you remember? We had a fight later. Oh, I love that suplex. That belly to belly was awesome. Wow. But yeah, Harvey. We had no plan of Harvey walking out with the championship. That was impromptu after the fact. And my biggest regret from this show was not giving DJ and Colt the time of day on commentary. And that's my fault. I take full responsibility for that one. Because I feel like it was a disservice to them. Yeah. Oh, I grabbed the ladder. Oh gosh, I'm botching. Oh, this is painful. You always hate to see the botches that you put on. For such a great match, the botches weren't gigantic. SOS on the outside, got the finisher. This was requested by Alex, so thank you, man, for requesting it. We have actually a fight for him again next. Maybe not today, maybe tomorrow. Maybe I'll try to do it tomorrow. I'm thinking because it's so late. Try to do it tomorrow. It feels good to be back. I wish I could hurry up and make a video for you guys, but that takes time. Also, I love how I'm off-centered with my display. If you can see where it's cut off, right in here. Oh, tope over the ropes. Hey, and they're both down. At this point, I think everybody's just glad that we're outside the ring. Because you couldn't pin outside the ring, so that was safe harbor. It's tied 1-1. Every pinfall is crucial, and of course, I'm setting up this ladder spot. Oh my gosh. Wow, I'm actually shocked that the game didn't screw me over there. Ooh, tossed him into the ring post. But yeah, this match changed Universe Mode forever. It really felt like Game of Thrones after this. Like, I don't know how to describe what everybody else was thinking, but I thought that it was a fitting end to a career. And of course, I still brought Mr. Samuel back the previous season to fight Scott Cole one-on-one, which was still a really good match. Then there was the triple threat match, the show after at WrestleMania Season 4. What else? Oh, I take him up to the top turnbuckle. What's this move? Oh, was it the Avalanche RKO? Oh, it is. That's cool. At this point, we're just doing spots. And to put this in perspective, Harvey's catch finisher was what we called the half British Ambition, so that was a little knock at him. And here comes the spear. Everybody was ready for the count. 1, 2. Everyone was just holding their breath for that one. Put him under the ladder. Symbolism. Bad luck. Bad luck to be under the ladder. Oh, that did not look clean. Both guys are bleeding. Oh, what a great suplex. I think that's a Snapdragon. German. I don't know for sure. Knee to the ribs. Oh, the elbows. I love this move.
I loved it so much that I put it on Matt King in the later seasons just because I wanted to give a little bit of a nod to that move. I loved it. It was hard to do, though. Make no mistake. It was hard to do. Oh, and Harvey sidestepped. Of course he did.
Steamrolled the referee, by the way. Oh, and just jumped. Didn't even care. Yeah, the move online is toxic. But I think I think I mentioned this before in the stream. This made me truly realize the importance of storylines. Because if you can get people to care about a video game match between two creative guys, that's something special. This might not be my personal favorite match, but this has a special place in my heart. Just because it was one of the original pillars, I was really hopeful to immortalize Mr. Samuel. This is what immortalized Mr. Samuel. You can say whatever you want about his career up until this point, but every match afterwards, except maybe Tyler versus him at season 7, was just so good. It was just so exciting every match he was in. And he was viewed as a legend after this, which is shocking, right? He had 1 WWE title reign, or 2 world title reigns. 1 Money in the Bank, was a former U.S. champion and I think cruiserweight champion, and that's it. He was also an inaugural tag team champion with me with the NXT belts, but that's it. Not a 5-time world champion, not a 4-time. His career was the shortest out of the original 10 guys. So for me, to see people view him as a legend because of this match, and to care about, well, people already were pretty invested in Harvey, either good or bad, but to get people to rally so much behind Mr. Samuel and to deliver on the hype, and it puts him from babyface to skyrocketing him in a legendary status, was just so much fun to see. So much fun to witness. And if you want to watch the original clip for this without all my commentary, this kind of commentary, you can go to the playlist season 3 and 4 for Universe Mode on my channel, and it should be episode 55, season 3, which is episode 165 total. Yeah, 513 comments. This was when Universe Mode was at its peak. Season 3, 4, and 5 are really the peak seasons, that 1.5-year stretch. Half British Ambition. There you go. Harvey got him. And this is where everyone's like, no, no, no. 1, 2, kick out. And the crowd goes wild. I swear it was like every single time I managed to find a way out, people just took a sigh of relief. And what was also fun about Universe Mode was, just because I played as a certain character, just because I chose to be a certain person, didn't guarantee that they'd win. There was no guarantee. I think that's always fun. You can push a narrative, you can create a story, and there was always those miracle moments that can happen, those shocking twists where I screw up, or something doesn't go to plan. There's always that moment of uncertainty. And here comes Harvey with the British Ambition. No. Oh, Mr. Samuel, countered spear. Beautifully done. I couldn't have written it better myself. 1, 2. Oh. Would have been a pretty solid ending. We're doing all these spots, all this back and forth, all this clashing. And it was so much fun. By the later seasons, it became that the person you chose would more than likely lose. Yeah, that's very true. I would say it was more true for Matt King than anybody else. If I ever played as Matt King, it was almost a guarantee that I'd lose. Oh, the ladder didn't break. I forgot about that. Dang, that sucks. Wasted opportunity. Matt King certainly had the stigma of having the great matches, and I would fight as him and I would lose. I had way too much fun putting over guys, having fun matches with people and putting them over. It was fun. But yeah, definitely during the later seasons, it became apparent that I was more often than not putting over guys. But I will say, the moments that I would play as people and win, like Kyle O'Reilly versus Brock Lesnar, I think. What was I doing here? What was I checking? I can't remember. I don't know. I still found ways to. But to be fair, once again, I think you can sacrifice or you can make something predictable. Just because something's predictable doesn't mean that it's bad. Yeah, it can be. Oh, the stealing finisher. Oh, I'm so sad that they took this out after this game. That was amazing. People were geeking. I say geeking. People were popping off for that. That stealing of the finisher. That was awesome. But if you can make somebody care, even if the story's predictable, even if the outcome's predictable, and people still get invested, I truly feel like that's a good thing. If it's predictable, and it's not engaging or not exciting, then it's bad. Something can be predictable, but it doesn't mean that it's bad. That's just my thought on it. Yes, I would agree. I would agree, Panda. Oh, I clipped his leg. We both go down. Do I roll him? Do I go into a pin? No? Alright. I think we're near the end. I have a feeling we're close. Oh, this is so good. Go to sleep. Neck breaker. Masterfully done. Yeah, so for me it was a time. This was certainly the peak seasons. This was the start. I think the season 3, 4, 5 era was the height of universe mode. But I think the best written and engaging season was season 7. Just the journey, the roller coaster. It had a slow start, kind of like everything else, and then it just picked up. It shot off like a rocket. Almost everything had a story. Almost everything was almost everything had a purpose. Whereas in these seasons, you kind of had the overall narrative, one or two big fights being built up. Here comes Harvey with another British ambition. It connects. Is that it? Was that the spot? Can't remember. I think that was it. Oh, this is it. This is it. This has to be it. Yeah. Wow. Oh, man, I remember that. I just remember people were a little shocked that was it. Like, it was a 1, 2, 3 off a finisher, no catch, no nothing. But I think from a storytelling standpoint in that match, you were so beaten down, you were so bloodied, you were so battered, the two competitors within the ring, that it ends on just the finisher. There's no theatrics. There's no over the top. And here's the thing: even just watching this back, it's a long match. And once again, if you had no context watching this, it's a hit or miss. You either like it or you don't, and it's fine if you don't, because it's an emotional match. It's an emotionally driven match for the guys and the people that watched and cared. And as you can see, 7 people live. 7 people were live. And
for people that don't think that's much, it was a lot. WrestleMania always had something, and this story or this match had it all. It had the build-up, it had the hype, it had the promos, it had the good guy versus the bad guy. Mr. Samuel's career was put on the line. Mr. Samuel now forced to retire. If we just forget about what happened afterwards in this match, we would all be in a much happier place. But this, for me, was truly a changing point. I think, I'll never forget this. I finished this match, and I put down the controller, and I took a deep sigh, and my hands were doing this like small shake from just how ecstatic I was so into it. I was so nervous. And I was so energized that my hands were just shaking from just the shock. Because here's the thing, I knew, for real, for months, I had it penciled in that Mr. Samuel was going to lose. And the realization that you ended someone's creation. A guy made the character, gave it to me, and trusted me to paint or to tell a story with him. And then he tells me he's stepping away, and I decide that he should retire. His character should retire, because I felt like it would be messed up if I kept going with his character and keep putting him in championships without his input. So to do this, once the 3 count happened, it's a realization that you can't go back. You can't go back on your word. It's done. Mr. Samuel's not fighting for another championship. He's never going to step in the ring to compete. This is someone's creation being removed. Quite literally, not literally, decapitated, gone. Goodbye. And I remember, it was just a crazy, crazy moment, because you get the 3 count and you're just like, all right, I committed to this decision. I committed this, and honestly, I'm glad that I went with this decision, because once again, it catapulted Mr. Samuel's character in the eyes of the average viewer. Not like Zesty here, and I don't mean to bash you or anything, so don't take this the wrong way. But for somebody that has no concept of wrestling, for you, you're indifferent on this. You don't really care, which is totally understandable, because you don't know who the characters are, you don't really have that investment. But for the guys like Panda here, who are watching every single episode, who were there for almost every single show, who were part of that core group that was so invested, not just in their own characters, but the other guys' creations. This was monumental for everybody who was watching as the average viewer, the guys who tuned in all the time. This rocked them. And from a standpoint here, looking back, besides SummerSlam Season 7, but that wasn't booking. Yeah, I would agree. But for me, looking back, even without, like, if I had, and it's been years. I think this was 2018. This started, I think it was 2018, 2 years ago. Over 2.5 years ago when this show happened. Almost 3 years at this point. Over 2 years. 2018, I believe. So for me, this was very much a moment in time. This catapulted Mr. Samuel into, like, people just looked at him as a legend after this match. And I strongly believe this. If you had an iconic match in Universe Mode, no matter what, you just need the one match to define you. And people will remember that. People will hold on to that. If you can have a moment, if you can have a match that was just so good, people will never forget it. That was this match for Mr. Samuel. You can not even look back at the rest of his matches, all the other fights he had in the first 3 seasons, and see how he wasn't the greatest in the ring in terms of chemistry. But to have this match, it was the match. And then you wait a season for his character. He fights Scott Cole, has a great match there. He has a great match the following WrestleMania. It just reaffirms the image that he's a legend to these people, or to the viewers. And I think that that's awesome. And I will, and to have, this was the biggest, this was the first time people got that invested into a match. And I'm sad that you can no longer view the live reactions because it was insane. People were so excited, including Panda. Panda was one of them. Alex was another. So, looking back all these years later, I think this is the second time I've ever watched it back. And once again, I watched it with no commentary because I hate listening to my commentary. Just listening to it back, it's personal preference. But it still holds up to me as a good match. Yes, I think it's a 30-minute bout, but it's got the emotional investment if you take the time to understand the context of why it's such a big fight. But yeah, I had a lot of fun rewatching this. I believe Kevin might have been. Thank you so much, Zesty. I appreciate it. And trust me, the Titanfall series, everything I do on this channel, I really love doing. And I'm not trying to sit here and tell you guys that I'm recycling this content just to keep pumping out videos. I wanted to highlight some of the matches that not just I loved, but matches that guys like Panda in this chat here fell in love with and stuck with the series because they fell in love with these matches. And there's plenty more. There's over 1,000 some odd matches that I had in Universe mode. A lot that were not great, a lot that were good. There was a lot of times I was kicking myself saying, what am I doing wrong? What could I have done differently? And this match, I just felt like everything went right to satisfy the guys who have been there for so long. And I felt like I was honoring the guy who initially made Mr. Samuel. That's just my viewpoint on it. Yeah, and I'm super passionate about Titanfall as well. So here's the problem. I've been busy for a while. Just before I wrap up this video, I'm about to. But I'm trying to finish episode 5 of Titanfall. It might be the last one for a while, only because a lot of the guys stepped away in the filming process, which sucks. It happens. So we're putting on hold. I'm speaking to one of the guys to potentially do like a short film thing, like one video thing that we can come up with. We're trying to brainstorm ideas. I need to speak to him about it. That's something I really wanted to. The Titanfall thing I really want to keep alive because I love doing that. The What If episode, I need to start filming. I actually tried to start filming this. Get this, Panda. You might get a laugh out of this. I started filming the raw bit. For the next episode yesterday night. I did the whole audio and everything, and I didn't save it, so I have to redo the whole thing. Oh, I'm so sad. So that's on me. It's a slow process. And yeah, and I apologize that I haven't asked you for help, Zesty. And it's all good that you haven't seen it. The guys who I worked with were great help, and trust me when I say this, I'm proud of, when it comes to Project Kronos, I'm happy that I did it and that I am doing it. It's got a lot of flaws, and as an amateur, I think that there's a lot to improve upon. Yeah, I'm glad I could get a kick out of that. Yeah, so I have to refilm it, hopefully tonight, maybe. I'm filming it in bits because I don't have much free time. But when I do, I'm trying to like slowly move forward. And when I do have my free time, I just want to spend it with people. So that's why I haven't really been posting the past couple weeks. I apologize. But to put this in perspective, Panda, you requested, while we're at 44 minutes, I'm going to wrap this up. Panda, you requested to view Alex's iconic match, the match that put him on the map from day one and made him the all-star of NXT. You requested Kurt Angle versus him in a 15-minute Iron Man match. I will hold you to that, and I plan for it to maybe be tomorrow night or this weekend. So stay tuned for that, man. I want to thank you and Zesty for coming out here. Zesty, even though you're not a fan of wrestling or you haven't watched it, I appreciate you coming out and watching this. If you want to help, potentially, I'm trying to talk to one of the guys about help or working on a short for Titanfall or something, just to use the game. I still want to do stuff with it, even though we don't have the numbers to continue Project Kronos right now. I still want to do something, but I want to thank you guys. It has been a while. I can imagine it has been a while, but yeah, I'm gonna try to brainstorm with him. If you have any ideas or suggestions, we want to keep it short and we want to utilize like the numbers that we have, and it would just be me and him right now. You'd be a third, and we can just come up with a short or whatever, either it being funny, maybe horror, I don't know. Something like that. Something interesting, something experimental, just for the heck of it. I don't know, it could be fun. But nonetheless, guys, I want to thank you guys for coming out here. Popping in for the video. It's much appreciated. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Of course, if you choose, you don't have to. You can even leave a dislike if you hate me. I don't care. But most importantly, and as always,